righty, get the recorder on and we'll get going. I'd like to welcome everyone to the special meeting of the Los Altos Arts Commission, and today is August 12th, 2021, all day. Yep, and it looks like we have a quorum of commissioners, but if you wouldn't mind, say your name and wave. So Nancy Ellickson here.
Hillary King.
Ballerini. Hi, everybody.
And Monica Waldman, whose picture never seems to work on Ring Central after Gabe and I had an email exchange. This is as good as I look today. But I am here.
So we do have a quorum of commissioners, and let's move, if you would. We have got Vice Mayor Enander with us, and our new city manager, Gabe England, and our new community center. I don't know what to call you, Mary Jo. Are you the manager of the community center or what? But welcome for your second go round with the Arts Commission. And if we could, I'm trying to see where, Will, are you going to lead us in the pledge tonight, or yes? Okay, so you want to put the flag up?
All right, I will go ahead and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very nice, Will. Thank you. Okay, moving to the public comment section of our agenda. It looks like we don't, Jamie, have you received any cards or emails or texts for public comment?
So at this point, there was nothing that was sent ahead of time to speak during public comment, but I will give it just a second to see if anyone raises their hand. Or you can also unmute if you would like to speak during public comment.
I would like to welcome a member from the community, Janet Corrigan, to our call tonight. Janet, we're waving.
Thank you very much.
We're waving too.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there are, oh yes.
Oh, and just we can, I'd like to, and you already said hi, but just wanted to introduce Gabriel England. Gabe, he is our new city manager, and just wanted to give him the opportunity to say hi to the commission.
Thank you, Jamie. So yeah, I wanted to just drop in and let everyone know how much we appreciate the work, the volunteerism, the dedication. This commission is very exciting. I understand we have some dedicated funding now and lots of fun projects on the horizon. Donna was giving me the update. So mostly I just wanted to say hi and say I look forward to seeing all the work that this group puts out, and let you know that we support you, and we're all here to assist in any way we can. So thanks for letting me drop in.
Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
And
Gabe, can I ask a very basic question? Should we address you as Gabe or Gabriel?
Gabe is good. I'll respond to anything you call me though.
Oh, I see.
Okay. And this we're getting close to two of us, me and Ballerini, terming out. And so that will happen next month. Actually, yeah, the end of next month. And so we have kind of been through the good and the bad of the Arts Commission, where we had years with no funding. And we created a % funding or an in lieu funding plan, and finally it kicked in just as we're leaving. But I think all of the work that previous commissions have done has kind of put everything in place, so the group is ready to move forward and manage the art program like it's never been managed before. So it's very, very exciting time. Paula, do you have anything you'd like to add? You're on mute, dear.
Sorry, my dog was barking. I had to mute myself.
Oh, and it looks like you're
Long
frozen now.
road of getting to this place. So I'm really excited to see what will happen. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
We got you.
There, am I back now?
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'm just excited to see what holds for the commission, and hopefully we'll get a whole lot of new candidates to take all these open spots and move forward with these projects.
Okay. So let's, if everyone has gone through and read the packet, let's start with the call for art. But first I want to ask and make sure any commissioners have something that they want to move one place or the other on the commission or on the agenda.
Nope, looks good.
Okay, let's move forward then. The call for art. Hillary, since you and I are the only represented subcommittee members, do you want to start on this or would you like me to?
I'll let you start. I think that, I mean, I guess to give the quick background, we're kind of revamping it to give the sculpture process a revamp, trying to kind of attract more art by recognizing that having the art in the city is kind of a marketing opportunity for the artist, and we can sell the art. So trying to, which had really been there all along, we just hadn't highlighted that. So I'm calling it Art Without Walls, letting know artists that, we will be promoting it, really puts that more at the forefront. And we're hoping to attract more art and from, I think, a greater, variety of art from different places. Does that sound right, Nancy?
That's great. And let me follow up with the nuts and the bolts of the program. The program originally has been a list of artists, about 300 names long. Over the years, these are folks that we've seen and added to the list or who have taken part in our art loan program. Monica recently added over 100 names, I think, to that list. So that's one bucket. And that bucket, typically what we have done is we've sent an email and an application form. The other bucket is something called Cafe. And what Cafe is a national, I would call it kind of a database search engine. And Monica, since you have done work with Cafe before, chime in here at any point. And Jamie mentioned to me, I think yesterday, that we finally, after over a month, got our Cafe account approved.
Yay.
And yay, now what we need to do is get it paid for. And it's, I think it's $750 or something. And I think we used more attorney time than that to get it approved. And then get our posting on Cafe. And the question that staff has had, and I think it would be a really good idea as a group if we addressed it, do we want to have two separate arms going out? In other words, the email arm that we've always used with a set of artists and a broader, more shotgun approach with a national group of artists. My thought is you do both because you're in your email, you have folks that know you. In our broader coverage model, folks don't know you. You're one of, several hundred probably calls for art. So what does everyone think about that?
Does city staff have the bandwidth to do two programs?
Thank you, Monica. I think at this point, we're pretty close with basically with Cafe. We're just at the cusp to complete that contract. And so the one piece is that from the demo that we did with Cafe, they recommended, and I think we actually could do both, but I think what would be helpful is to do them simultaneously versus doing the email, because what we could do is still email, but reference them to the website. And essentially what Cafe said is that basically would then the website, our website would link back so that the Cafe site would be the very site they would actually submit their application.
Hold on, Jamie. Hillary, could you put yourself on mute?
Sorry,
there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise. Sorry. Continue on, Jamie.
Yep, absolutely. And so from their demo, that's they shared that that's what quite a few organizations usually do is from their website, they link back to Cafe so that there is one point of accepting applications. And so I think we can still do both arms, but I think the one part is to funnel and make sure that there is one point of entry for applications. If we did not do them simultaneously and we had, and Cafe wasn't up yet, and let's theoretically say we did email out the group, but Cafe wasn't up yet or hadn't been set up yet, they would submit applications through the city website. And then once we launched Cafe, that's what would create the two different arms. So I think staff would recommend trying to do those simultaneously.
Jamie, let me just add one thing. In thinking about the cost, remember anything that goes through Cafe is $2 an entry. Anything that comes to the city is free. And so we may want to consider that. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all 400 of those people we email, not likely at all, but wouldn't it be wonderful if they all applied? But if they go through Cafe, it's going to be a far chance, but another $800. If they go to the city, we can go through and call them and get them up where we can all take a look at them. Hillary, Paula, any other comments?
I do think they should both go out. I think that is just kind of consistent with mailing them out before and just, a broader, approach. So yes, I do think they should both go out.
Paula?
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I'm a little concerned about the date because it's September 7th, right? That we want responses back by.
I think we'll move it a week further because we've been delayed so much. And so we'll probably move it a week.
Yeah. So whatever we can do to get it out as soon as possible. Maybe this is a year that we just gamble a little bit to spend a little bit more than we might.
Jamie, do you have completed copy from me? I think I sent it to you in early July, so you're good there.
Yes.
Monica?
Share my screen on that if the commission would like to see the final product.
That would be
Let's
great.
put that on screen. My concern, I know that the lawyers have dotted the I's and crossed the T's. How long does it take to physically pay? I mean, the city works in strange ways. How long will it take to pay them? And then you said the account is there then to load the information. Are we looking at weeks? Or are we looking at days?
I'm pretty confident that it's just a few more days, but obviously things can change, but that's my anticipation.
Is anybody in the city going on vacation that could slow down this process?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Could we do something to help you, Jamie? Monica or I both went through that training with Cafe, and we're happy to do that part of it. Maybe we could do it together on a Zoom. And
that would be appreciated.
And then we can get you through it, and you can go on to bigger and better things. But we want to get this. We want to get this out. Do you want to share the document, please?
Yep, I will go ahead and do so. Sorry, I have a lot of windows up.
I'm sure you do.
We all do.
What I'm showing at the moment is the flyer. And then, and this is with the updated verbiage from the subcommittee.
Okay, but administered is the big question.
Correct.
We do not want to use administered, and I think you mentioned that we would have to vote on whether we use administered or sponsored. We want to be in a role
from the commission on what the preference is. Yes.
Yeah. So how do I just frame it as simply as who wants sponsored, who wants administered?
Yep, and I can provide just a little bit more context. The city staff is the one that recommended using administered because we felt that it was overall that you are administering or managing this particular program. And the one specific is that the Public Arts Commission is the one that recommends budget allocations, but ultimately it's the city funds approved by City Council. So that is why we thought administered might be a better terminology. But if the full commission feels that sponsored is a better representation of the program, we can definitely make the amendment, but would like to hear from the full commission.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments, or do we want to take it to vote?
My comment is I don't think I've seen a call that says administered before. It's usually sponsored by.
Okay. Thank you for that point of reference.
Plus, as commissioners, we no longer have any contact directly with any of the artists. We used to, but that was taken back a number of years ago. But it doesn't seem like an advisory body to the city council, which is what the commission is, really has the authority to administer a program. So I agree that sponsorship or sponsored by is a more term.
Okay. So as chair, I can make a motion, right, Jamie? I'd like to make a motion that when we refer to our programs, they are sponsored by, not administered by. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Can we take a vote, please? Paula?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
Monica?
Aye.
And I am aye. Okay, so let's pull those words out. And I would offer to do that for you, Jamie, but I can't. I can go into a PDF, but it's not pretty.
No worries. I will be happy to make that amendment. That's an easy one.
Thank you. So it's this document, and it's would you like to put the registration document up? And it's this document. So anytime there is an administered, we would like it to be sponsored. And just to recap, we have agreed as a group, now's the time to change it, $1,500 stipend for each piece. Is everyone still of the same mind?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hillary, I know you're on mute.
Yes, so the same
Yeah.
line, yes.
Okay, all right. So I think you all have this information in your packet. Are there any other changes, comments, whatever that you would like to add? The time is ripe. Paula?
I have a question / comment. Under email, can you just scroll down a tiny bit, Jamie? Maybe you can't. Yeah, so where the email is recinfo@Los Altos, how come it's not a person's name? I mean, we always used to have John's name when we had just John as our city liaison. And I'm just wondering, this is a really small detail, but it seems more personal to me to be responding to an individual's name rather than rec, especially it's rec department, like what does that have to do with public art? It's
Right.
slightly confusing to me.
Could we put is there at all a bogus mailbox name that you guys use? Jamie?
So answer to that one. So this is one, so the rec info is one that our, a lot of our front office staff, and they would be able to help corral and funnel a lot of that information. And so that was the, at least the initial intent, to have that support to help make sure that those, that the different information coming in is making sure that it goes to the correct person. We do have, obviously I'm the main liaison to the Public Arts Commission at this point, and we do have support staff, but having multiple emails and so that all of us could have access, that's why we had initially wanted the rec info, but I hear your point.
Could we change that, Jamie, to somebody's name, please?
Or maybe, Los Altos Art Commission at losaltoscal.gov, and then it gets funneled into the same mailbox.
I'll stand up for the rec thing. I think it's fine. I mean, I see Paula's point, but I think when you're submitting work, you're just, you're sending it off. So to me, I'm fine with it. But I guess if you need to take a vote or something, I mean, I'm fine either way, but I'm not bothered by it.
So why don't we just, since we're all in a voting mood, why don't we take a vote? Would we rather have it go into, we could do it LAPAC, LAPAC.
I think that would be better, because at least it's tied to the commission.
Yeah. So how about LAPAC at losaltos.gov?
Yep.
Madam Chair, this is Anita Enander. May I say something?
Of course.
And Jamie can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're basically asking is for the IT department to set up a new email address, and then to decide, or you would want to be telling them where you want that distributed to. And I don't know what kind of time it takes to do that, and whether there's any other complications. Jamie probably is familiar with that. But we are asking staff to do something which may or may not cause a delay. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I smell a delay. Maybe we should let it sit for this particular call, and we address it for the next call.
Let's ask Jamie. Jamie, would there be a delay?
So actually, Vice Mayor Enander literally took the words out of my mouth. This would be an additional process, because setting up, which is possible, to set up another email account. Obviously, this one that is listed at the moment is set up and would have that functionality. We can set one up, but I can't speak for at least the timeline. Normally it's a quick process, but right now I know our IT department is very focused on getting things set up in the community center. And so there is a focus on that point. Now, generally speaking, it's usually fast, but I don't want to speak without talking to them to know how quickly they can turn that around.
Let's go with what Monica said and do it the next time, if we can leave it on this one.
I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to do that.
You don't want to do what, Nancy?
I don't want to leave it at rec.
Oh, okay.
I agree. We're not Parks and Rec. And
Well, let me ask this, Nancy, if it's going to cause like a 1 to 2 week delay.
which is
Are you
everything
okay with
these
that?
days, right?
Yes.
Jamie, is there the possibility, I know I do this with my work account, I have mail funneled into a folder. Is it possible to use your email address and just have the mail automatically, you never really even see it, it just dumps into a folder?
That is,
No.
I'm fairly familiar, but that is something that I would need to double check on just to make sure that.
Well, I also want to stick up for Jamie. I don't want Jamie then to be getting a lot of emails from artists saying, you got my application, what are my chances, what are my odds?
That's
Okay.
yeah.
If you all are fine with rack, fine. That's fine.
I
Count
just
for
want
this
to make
round
one
it
other
is.
comment. I agree with Nancy. This speaks to the larger issue of how things have changed since we've been moved from a single city employee as our liaison to a whole crew from the rec department. But I do agree with Monica and Hillary, and seeing I'm terming out, I think Monica and Hillary's is about something like this. I'm going to give them more importance than my feelings about it. But I feel pretty strongly that this should be changed going forward, or changed as soon as possible, so that it's a public art contact for the program, not a rec department contact. But I would not stand in the way. If it's going to delay it by even a few days, I think we should leave it as it is.
Yeah, fair enough. Because of all the craziness with the cafe thing, we have delayed and delayed and delayed for over a month.
Right.
And
So
so,
in my heart of hearts, I completely agree with both Paula and Nancy that it's a branding thing, and I really believe it should be changed, but I also would like the call to be completed in time for them to get to vote. And
before this Christmas, right?
yeah, and I feel like any delay or question of how long will this take, it just makes me nervous. So
Okay,
I agree.
right. So, Jamie, if you can see how long it would be delayed, and if it's something that somebody would do in a day, great. If it's something that they kind of go, I don't know, maybe in the next week or two, let's just move on and leave it the way it is and do it in the next week or two, but we won't make that change before we get everything out. Fair enough?
Yes.
well, my vote tomorrow is Friday, and Jamie, do you work tomorrow, or is city staff off tomorrow?
Nope. It is a working Friday.
Okay, my vote is if by end of day tomorrow, either you haven't heard from IT or they've said, oh, we don't know, it might take time, then we just go with what we have.
I agree. Paula, are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And
But
Hillary, you can live with that? I know she's probably saying yes, but she's on mute.
Yes,
let me say,
fine.
There we go.
let
Okay.
me add that if we end up with very little from this call for art and we have to do an extension, then we should have this fixed for the extension.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let me net down and tell me where I'm on and tell me where I'm off. What it sounds like everybody has agreed to, and we will vote on this in just a second, so make sure we're almost there. So what it sounds like everybody has agreed to is we will do the cafe piece, and we will do the city mailing of the 300 plus Monica's name with these two documents with changes made to them. Everyone has agreed that any responses to the city mailing will be filtered through cafe. Is that where we are at this point?
Then they wouldn't need the entry form if everything's shuttled through cafe.
That's a good point. And putting the email on wouldn't be a problem.
Well, true, because cafe is going to be like a database and hold that information and
Right.
send it to the city.
Where are we with that? Do we want to just mail out with a link to cafe? That means we have to get tomorrow, we have to get cafe set up.
The other option that I could share is that if we did want to get this out sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
and that was also a conversation that I had with John Maginot as well, to kind of to work out some of the details with cafe too. And to your point, Nancy, that all the applications, I guess that's one question to get a little bit more clarification is that obviously cafe, that's their intent, and what it was created for was to manage applications for Call for Art. But obviously we do have the ability to do that through this form, and actually kind of a web form. If you have ever done the online commission application, that is something that we could do, and content-wise of what is on this form is actually what would be represented in the city's online form. I guess that's the other option, is that there could be that it is a possibility to and then if some of the commissioners, we wanted to consolidate, and the ones that were submitted through the city website, that was something that John Maginot had recommended, if a commissioner would be willing to help take those applications that had submitted through the city website and enter that into the cafe site so that there was one location for all applications. We could do it that way and actually release the city one earlier than cafe if we wanted to go that route as well. So I just wanted to share that conversation that I had had with John too.
I'm not quite getting the point from the standpoint of if we do this and we send only the flyer, and the flyer has a link to cafe, people can register through cafe. If we don't put the link to cafe and we do this, we're saving the $2 per entry, but we're having to do the manual part of entering everything. And when my remembrance of the cafe tutorial was that all the entrants are all, you can scroll through all the entrants online, if that makes sense. And so it makes it a lot easier. But Jamie, I'm going to put your toes to the fire here for a second. How quickly can you get the money paid and we can get cafe going? Is that another 2-week delay or 3-week delay?
The question that I have to confirm, and what I confirmed with John, is that once the contract is executed, we could utilize one of the city's credit cards to take care of the payment. So I don't think that is something that would be a delay.
How has the contract been executed?
It has not been yet. That's what I will need just a few more days to complete.
Okay, a few more days takes it into mid next week, as we're talking working days. I kind of just, and that means that cafe may be processing it from their side, and knowing that they take time on their side, that could be another week delay total. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Potentially. Again, I don't, they've actually been pretty responsive, but I can find out timeline for them as far as once it's executed, how fast it can get set up. But then the other part too, and that's something they could, and Nancy, as you mentioned, that if you can assist with setting that portion up, once our account is created, we do have to upload and create what that call for art actually looks like on their website.
Right. And so let's, commissioners, what do you think about, we'll push the date out on this call for art, and we'll push it to, let me just look here.
Do we want to say like October 1st? Is that too far?
That's too far.
Okay.
It's too far. Maybe push it to the 17th, Friday the 17th. And then let's get this out. Jamie, is it conceivable to get this out tomorrow? Is it possible with all your other stuff that you're doing? I know you've got a huge overflowing plate.
So as far as out when you say out tomorrow as far, so I don't, I can speak very confidently that cafe, that the contract will most likely not be completed by tomorrow, which means.
Oh, I understand that. But my feeling is we do two separate arms on it. We do this one the way that we've always done it in the past, which I hate that term. And we then do cafe at the same deadline, but we get that settled the first part of next week. So if we did that, and we made the changes that we've talked about to these forms and loaded them into whatever email program you guys use for mass mailing, the staff uses for mass mailing, could we conceivably get it out Monday around noon?
I think I would need maybe at least another day to do that, because I do have some on-site items that I will be at the community center for tomorrow. And then the same thing for a little bit on Monday. If the commission would be comfortable with Tuesday, I think that is doable.
No, Monday between noon and 5. Is that, can you get somebody else to do it then?
At the moment, and that's something that I would need to look into, but at this point, again, our staff is really focusing on the community center, which is taking a lot of our focus. And in addition, the past few weeks, we have been packing and preparing to move. And so I do want to make sure that all of those pieces are still moving. It would just be one additional day for Tuesday.
Can you get it out Tuesday morning before noon?
I think that would possibly be doable.
Okay. Do you want to put my name on the mailing list and the other commissioners' names on the mailing list as well? Do you mind seating us on there?
No,
That would be great.
I'm happy to include that.
Okay, so Tuesday before noon, then we think that this will go out with the changes that we've made. Commissioners, are we comfortable with that?
Yes.
Paula, are you okay with that?
Yes. And then we're going to change the date from the 7th to the 17th.
Correct.
Yes, I'm comfortable.
Okay, great. So done. And then the second part of this is getting cafe set up. And so Jamie, if you could get back to us with, if you could contact cafe and just find out after does Gabe need to sign the document? Who needs to sign the contract? City attorney? Who signs it?
No, the signing authority is Gabe, and so that would be the person that would need to execute it.
Okay, is it possible to get that done tomorrow?
I can, well, again, I do have prior commitments later on in the afternoon. That is something that I can find out. Again, at this point, I just need to confirm whether or not it would be, and actually on Cafe's side, they would just need to update who they send it to. There is one last piece in confirming the liability insurance piece. I don't know, I can't confirm, or I can't guarantee that it will be completed by tomorrow.
From what you said, I guess when we talked earlier this week, I guess I understood that it was completely a done deal.
No, and I apologize if that was a misunderstanding. What I was referencing when I had at least talked about that piece is that the verbiage had been agreed to, not that the contract had been completed. Okay,
so let's try for tomorrow, and if it doesn't, if you can at least call Cafe, and I'm happy to call somebody at Cafe and find out I can call the, I can't remember her name, but I have Raquel or Rachel or whoever it was at Cafe that we were dealing with, and just find out the turnaround time. Would you like me to do that? And that'll take one less thing from you.
Again, Christina's the one that I've actually been working with. She's been pretty responsive, and that is a small piece. So I think it would probably be better to continue with the at least one, just so it doesn't, usually it's better if there's one point of contact. So
Okay.
I'm happy to complete that.
Okay. Paula, question,
Okay.
comment?
No, I'm good with it all.
Okay. Do we need to take a vote that we're going to be doing 2 parallel mailings? The first mailing will be the city list with Monica's additions and the 2 documents we've just talked about. The second phase with the same deadline would be the cafe phase. Would someone like to frame a motion and make a motion that we can vote on?
So I'll make a motion, and correct me if I get anything wrong here, that we do a 2-pronged approach for our call for art. One being a mailing to an existing mailing list or mailing lists that we have either have or have provided to the city recently, and the other would be through cafe.
Okay, and the timing would be next week.
Correct. For the mailing through the mailing list.
Okay. Can we please take a vote? All in favor of doing it that way?
Aye.
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 Can I add something to the motion?
Sure.
If something happens and the cafe payment contract, whatever, gets dragged out, I motion that we have another quick special meeting to decide what the deadline should be for the cafe deadline. That
Okay.
it may need to be changed.
Okay. All right. Is everyone okay with that additional piece to the motion that we just voted on?
Yes.
Paula?
I am, except I won't be next week, and I really don't want to do another special art commission meeting on 5-day vacation. So is there any way we can put language into this that we can do without a meeting, or it's okay if it's, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
How about
Like we
this,
sometimes,
Paula, for every day that cafe drags out that we've had our email call out, we add a day to the cafe deadline.
oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking,
Okay.
though that we may be fine just keeping it at a month, which would be next week.
Right.
So, okay.
If cafe goes past, if getting
Completely
everything
south.
wrapped up
Yeah.
past next
Okay.
week, I think we may need to change the deadline.
Got it. Okay. Is
Okay.
everyone good with that?
Yes.
Hillary, you okay with that?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, I am as well. All right. Any further comments, questions, great ideas on the call for art? Okay,
Ship it.
let's move. The Los Altos Public Arts Commission guidelines. You all received the revision that we made to the sponsorship guideline and the policies, the revision to the policies and procedures for donation of public art. And hopefully you all had a chance to read them, and maybe we can make this a quick topic. Are there any questions, comments, additions, changes? Hillary, I see your finger raised.
I did have one down where it said, I think only 2 items from a group per year was highlighted on mine, I believe. I can't scroll through it. I'm wondering do we need to have 2 like items on there in case different groups want to donate similar items?
How many bears do you want to receive, Hillary?
And she's trying to keep the lid on.
I mean, because it may not be that we may get different people donating bears. How many bears we want to accept? Is that anything we need to think about?
Yeah.
I'm just going to put that out there. So,
Okay. Any other comments? All right, let's separate the two and we'll vote separately. On the, and I want to go to the specific names. So hold on just one sec. On the addition of the partnership sponsorship document, the way that it stands with the addition that that Paula brought up last meeting. I'd like to ask for a motion, please, on whether to accept or not accept that document as written.
Motion to accept the document as written with the proposed change.
Okay, do I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hillary, Monica, is that an aye?
That was an aye.
Okay. All right, on the second document, which was the amendment to the donation process, I see your point, Hillary, about like items. And I would make it really general.
okay.
Like items from the standpoint of not bears of different sizes are considered different items, but anything that is a bear is an item. So I almost, if you all agree, I think adding like items to that. Monica, do you have, you wrote this and I know that you conferred with, no, you didn't on this.
No.
What do you all think? Are you comfortable with adding like items, or do you want to leave it without and leave it a little more general?
I'm okay with adding that in. I'm trying to think of why situation might be negative. I'm not sure.
I mean, I guess the opposite side of my own argument is, what if someone does want to donate a 10-piece sculpture set, and that is that considered? I guess if it's a set, it's one item, but
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, there will be other things in the future where we may have other mass art installations or something in the city too. So,
Now that you say that, I think I would leave it as it's written.
okay,
Like,
okay, that's fine.
would somebody like to make a motion, please?
Make a motion to pass as written.
Yes.
Yeah, I make a motion to pass at the donation guidelines as written.
I will second.
I'll second it. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. All in
care.
favor, raise your hand or say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any other questions? And the community center group worked on guidelines for art donations art for the community center.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is that ready to go?
We're going to be having a meeting from 3 to 4 o'clock tomorrow to review them with
Okay.
city staff.
Okay, great. Okay, is there anything else on this topic that I'm missing, or are we good to move on to Mother Hen?
Let's move on.
Okay, I take it we're good to move on. All right, for Mary Jo and Janet and Donna, who may not know about Mother Hen came to us as it's a mosaic piece about 20 to 24 inches high of a hen. It's been sitting out in front of, I think the restaurant is Tour Eiffel, and in downtown Los Altos. And the artist offered to either take the piece, it was part of our loan program, or sell the piece to the city. We agreed as a commission that the most we would pay for the piece. Oh, one thing a point that I need to add, the artist was paid $1,000 stipend. We agreed as a group to make an offer to the artist of $5,000 to purchase the piece. I think she wanted $7,000 initially. And Jamie, if I'm wrong on the details, please jump in. And we agreed, we made a motion that we would be willing to pay $5,000 plus she got the $1,000 stipend, plus what we wanted was for her just to do a quick clean and go over to make sure that there weren't any tiles missing. And according to Jamie, who had the conversation with the artist is not willing to sell it for $5,000.
Okay. Goodbye, Mother Hen. Sorry. Well, we made an effort. I don't.
Yeah. So before I want to make sure we take a vote, at this point, does anyone want to exceed the $5,000 plus the $1,000 stipend that we've already paid the artist? Would somebody please make a motion?
I vote that we KFC the chicken and send it back.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nasty.
Yeah. We make a motion that we have made all attempts at purchasing Mother Hen, and we are now passing it back to the artist. Or
We are.
I would only ask Jamie, is there anything else that you can add to the conversation from your conversation with the artist?
No, the artist basically said that they felt that the 5,000 was too low, and they countered with asking for 6,000. And actually, with the $1,000 stipend that has already been paid to the artist, that actually brings the total to what she had originally valued the piece at, which was 7,000. The original price he had initially quoted was 8,500. So that's the only additional, but she did counter raising what we had offered by $1,000.
Okay. All right. So
Can I make a motion that Jamie would contact the artist and say that the Public Arts Commission is not, very nicely say, we're not interested in the price that she's given. If she wants to take 5,000 still, we would be interested. Otherwise, she can take it back.
do we want to make a motion though that says we're asking Jamie to go to the artist and Jamie, this isn't a hurry up thing, so you can put it lower on your priority. I know you've got a huge plate full of stuff, so this can be a little lower priority, but let's go back to the artist and let's frame something so that we don't have to vote on this again. So a third time or a fourth time. So would the right way to frame this be if Jamie at her convenience goes back to the artist, alerts the artist that we are willing to pay $5,000 and that is firm, we'll move forward, and otherwise we're done. Do you all agree?
Yes.
So you're just kind of asking Jamie to go back and say, no, we're not going up.
Yeah.
If that's an email and Jamie can fire that off or a quick phone message, yeah, I think that's fine. I agree.
Okay. If the artist comes back though and says, okay, you've beaten me down, I'll pay $5,000 is fine. We will agree to take it, right? Everyone is still interested.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right. Do we need to vote on that, Jamie? Are we good with everyone nodding their heads and saying yes?
I think making that action formal by the commission would be helpful.
Of course. Okay.
Before we vote, I just have one last question for Jamie on this chickeny topic. Did the artist seem like she was revving up the engine of her car to come get the chicken? Is she like rearing to go to get this chicken?
She did have, now it was contingent upon seeing what the commission felt about the counter offer. But at this point, we were trying to work out, and timing does work out. Her initial plans were to come down sometime in the mid to end of September. to retrieve the piece.
Okay.
So if this did not work out. So this does work in time with what the artist had initially indicated for pickup if the sale did not work out.
Okay.
Okay. So please, someone make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We asked me to email the artist of my pen back and tell her we're firm on our $5,000 offer. And if she says no, thank you, then she can pick up her chicken and on her schedule. And if she says that's okay, then we'll keep the chicken.
Right. And pay
How's
for
that
it.
for
We'll
an
keep
articulate
and pay for the chicken.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For
Is
chicken.
there a second on that?
I second the motion.
Are we all in favor? Yes, yes, Paula, yes,
Aye.
and Hillary, and Monica. Okay. Jamie, was that a clear enough motion for you?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, it was terrible.
No, it wasn't. It was
I
just
would al-
funny. There were so many jokes that you could add to it too.
Sorry. This is Vice Mary Nander. I would just add with thanks to the staff for proceeding in a very professional manner.
You mean that because they made no chicken jokes?
Well, in dealing with the artist, because I know Jamie and I know how she will comport herself in the conversations.
I
Of
imagine
course.
these kind of conversations are not fun.
No,
That feels like a rebuke, so I'm not sure what to think about
Yeah, I know it does too. I feel like I want to say something back to that. Just because we have a humorous interchange does not mean any of us do not respect.
no. I'm just wanting to acknowledge that Jamie has Jamie's having to do the unpleasant, the really
The
unpleasant.
dirty work.
I'm happy to call the artist, and remember that there was a community member that made an offer for that chicken, and I think it might have been a much lower offer, but we did have a potential of getting it sold. So 2 potentials. So okay, are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Any further chicken jokes or comments?
No, not anymore.
No, and Jamie, we do appreciate it. I know those kind of phone calls would not be the ones I would want to make. So
Yeah, so thank you. All right, moving to Take Heart. Take Heart's loan is up. I think it's been up for a while, actually. Jamie?
It actually will come up next week. So
Okay.
you're within time. The artist did reach out before the 2-year loan program in the agreement is coming up. So the artist did acknowledge that if the commission wishes to extend, they would be open to it. If not, they are prepared to pick it up once the program ends.
Generally, when we extend, is the artist expecting additional money to extend or no?
That did not come up in her request. It was simply to extend the time. I can clarify that to see, but that was not part of her original request.
I think if she hasn't brought it up, just tell her, if the group agrees, that we would like to extend. Would we, Monica and Hillary, would you like to extend 2 more years or 1 more year?
I think trying to extend it for 2 more years, and then if maybe what we'll do is make a motion that Jamie will ask, would 2 more years be acceptable? If the artist says no, then we make it 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one less spot to fill for a while, and it's colorful, and I think
Yeah.
people like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question? Does this piece fall under the notion of making it public that the artist would be willing to sell the piece?
I think that is a great motion. Anita.
No, it's not a motion. I don't make motions, and
Oh,
I'm not supposed to
it's a
be a
great-
part of the deliberation, but I couldn't let it go by without asking the question. And you guys know I do not like to participate in your stuff, and I try not to stick my nose in, but
Oh, yes, you always add value. And when you participate, I just dropped every single thing off my desk. Okay, that is a great idea. How much, I can't remember how much the artist, I'd have to go through boxes of stuff. How much did the artist value the piece at?
I think Jamie had it in the packet.
yeah.
Did you? Okay. Let me look here.
I think it was 8,500, wasn't it? I can't remember.
No, it was 10,000.
$10,000.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Well, if the artist values it at $10,000, we can, maybe figure out a way to let others know and put a price tag on it. Maybe what we do is do that on the city's website.
Agreed.
Do you mean as something to sort of sweeten the deal for her to extend the time by agreeing to do that?
Yeah,
Advertising? Yeah.
yeah. We'll
I think-
promote it, and maybe a champagne anniversary celebrating that the heart has been there 2 years.
Well, but that you got to be careful of that then, because the other pieces we've not done that on their 2-year anniversary, and then you're gonna
Maybe
get
it's a
artists
new
going, "What about
tradition."
mine?"
And I'm gonna channel my inner Jamie and say that she may have to actually go back to other people in city staff to find out if we, the city, can promote that kind of stuff on our website, that it's for sale.
I think that I don't have enough, or at least knowledge to know if that is possible. So I think it would be good to check. But the point that I was going to bring up is that if it's kind of a one for all. If we do advertise this particular piece, I think we would, it should be something that we do for all of the pieces. And so that is something to consider if that is the new kind of the new option or direction that you would like to go. But I don't think it would be good to single out just one without doing the other pieces.
Amy, but isn't that a part of the new solicitation? Doesn't the new solicitation say that the city is promoting
Yep.
the pieces for sale?
Yep.
So I think the question is, are we going to differentiate the current pieces on loan from the stuff that's going to start coming in? And I don't know the right way to handle that. I leave that to you, Jamie, to figure out how to frame that for the commission.
No, absolutely.
Does it seem, and this is a question for Jamie and Anita, does it seem like some kind of guideline needs to be made, or how we promote this?
Well, did the city attorney weigh in on how it was stated in the package for the new solicitation?
They did not, but now that this question, as far as advertising it on the city's website, that I will double check on that piece, knowing that is an option. Is that an option that the commission would like to consider?
Okay, at this point, if it stalls the call for art, no. And we strike that part out of the mailer, and we move forward with the call for art. Commissioners, please weigh in. That's only my opinion. Please weigh in with your thoughts. Do we want to stall the call for art so the city attorney can go back through documents?
No.
So I'm going through the call. I've got a printout here. Under the paragraph, and correct me if I'm wrong here, about the public art loan program, Art Without Walls, the last sentence says, at this time, there are no commission costs for the art that is sold. I know, though, on the one that the city was going to send out, I think it had something about promotion. Let me see. Maybe not. No, I think, is that the only spot where it's citing anything about art that's sold?
That is correct.
Does it commit that we are, I have to remember what I wrote, whether I said I might have been a little more aggressive than we
So
want.
we specifically call out that we would advertise, but that we would not charge an additional commission fee if the item was.
Okay, okay. Then are we all comfortable with that? Jamie, you included, are you comfortable with that? Yeah. Paula, Hillary, Monica?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can leave it as a potential agenda item further down the road to discuss how to advertise and market it if the city attorney says it's okay.
You know, just to add, my conversation with the city of Lake Oswego, that's how they run and that's how they pay for their arts program, is by selling the pieces. They, I think they, and I don't mean this as a derogatory term, but they kind of churn about 35 pieces a year. And that's what helps fund some of the stuff that they do, the programs and stuff that they do. So, you know, Paula and I are short termers, and so it's something we'll leave on your laps.
I was going to add that there's a number of cities that have sculpture walks where they do the same sort of thing, where they replace the sculptures once every 2 years or a year. They have people vote for, you know, people's favorite, and maybe that's the one that the city buys, and the rest of them are for sale. So,
and if bears can sell for $10,000, certainly some of the sculptures that we pick could sell for less. So it's a good opportunity, Commission. Is there, so with, let's vote on the heart sculpture. Are we open to keeping it at least another year, possibly 2 years if the artist agrees?
Yes.
yes.
Would someone please make a motion?
I make a motion, we ask the artist, if the artist agrees, we keep the heart piece 2 years or 1 year, depending on what the artist says.
Do we have a second?
At no extra cost, correct?
At no extra cost.
No cost, yes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Moving forward, community engagement. This is to identify topics that are relevant to the audience that's attending the Art and Wine event this weekend. And I think, Hillary, you're going to be staffing one day with Jenny.
Do we know what hours or anything on that, or?
Jamie?
So the time frame of the event, we will have staff there roughly in the 9 to, I believe it is 5. And so we do have a slew of commissioners, also from Parks and Rec, and obviously recreation staff that will be present. So within that time frame, you would just need to, Mary Jo actually has been the one to coordinate that portion of it. So if you let us know those times, we can specify that that's the time that the Public Arts Commissioners will be there or present at the area.
Okay.
Jamie has, and forgive me for not knowing the answer to this, has Parks and Rec had a booth at the Rotary Show in the past?
Not to my, well, I actually don't have the historical knowledge on that in my time.
We have.
Okay. So at least for, at least in my time here, I don't think Recreation has, but it sounds like the Public Arts Commission has, so.
Yeah, we had once.
Yeah. And it was fun manning it. I wish that I could this weekend, but it was a lot of fun manning it. And you get, there are tons of kids there and it's really fun. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything that we're doing. We're not doing like glitter tattoos or, you know, kid fun things, but it is fun and you get to meet a lot of people in the community and beyond.
I'll share, Recreation will have a coloring page That is
Ooh.
to obviously we're using it to bring awareness to the grand opening. So there is a specific logo for the grand opening, and that's that more details will be coming. And so we do have a coloring page that will be an option at the booth.
Okay, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. Monica, I know that this was something that you wanted on the agenda. Are there other parts of this that you wanted to discuss?
I'm curious if there's any questions that, if someone comes up and says, oh, you're on the Arts Commission, I've always wanted to talk to you, or do we ask them if they're residents, if they come to Los Altos often, what their favorite piece is? Are they aware that there is a public arts program? What kind of art would they like to see? I mean, are there questions, just so that we can get some feedback from members of our commission who are able to attend, and hopefully it's meaningful?
Yeah, I was thinking I might even try to take like pen and paper and just ask people either what art are you interested in seeing more of or less of, and just trying to engage people that way. I don't really have time to put anything fun together. So.
Maybe asking them about community art programs. What kinds of things do you have any ideas about great community art programs that you've done in the past that you'd like to see us do? Something like that.
Yeah.
We will get, I think, people who are non-residents. And it's a good question to ask people, are you from here? And things like that. Because I know we'll get people who are not necessarily Los Altos, but yeah.
But I think it's a good question about, okay, so you're from Sunnyvale, you're from Brisbane. Have you, do you like the artwork in your city? Have you done any community programs? What have you seen? What did you like? What did you not like?
That's a lot to ask at a table, but we'll try.
I know. I mean, you're lucky if you get one or two sentences in. I know. I really know.
We'll try. But yeah, I think we'll try. I'll try to engage as much as possible and talk to people. I would like to kind of hear from people what they either want more or less of, and what they see. But we'll try, and I'll try to take notes and things like that. But we'll see what we can do. So.
Okay.
Maybe for art and wine, which I think is, well, I don't know if we want to do anything with art and wine later in September, but that's a bigger animal. So
yeah. Yeah, and that, since it's generally downstate in Maine, maybe an opportunity to do a sculpture walk, hand out flyers.
That's true.
Or something similar.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jamie, I'm just checking for my fellow commissioners who will be there. It's a booth that's covered, correct?
Hey, I wear sunscreen. I'm not.
The area that we've been placed in, it's on off of West Edith, and we're under trees, is what Carol said. So we will be, we should be in a shaded area.
Oh, so
we weren't planning to bring a canopy out because of that. It would just mainly be the table.
Okay.
So this is something Carol Dabb did for us.
Correct.
Great. Okay. Anything else on this topic before we move on?
No, just good luck to both Park and Rec and our commissioners who are participating.
Yep. One thing I want to go back to is, if you don't mind, item 2. Jamie, do we have a date yet on council's calendar to get the new documents that we've just approved tonight approved?
I have had a conversation with the city clerk. The September agendas are quite impacted, and so she's recommending October, and that's what I wanted to share with the commission. Is that timeline okay?
Is there any way to get the last meeting in September or the first meeting in October?
So the first meeting in October is what she has recommended because of what is currently being scheduled for September already.
Okay. Everyone, does that work for you? Yeah?
I don't think we have a choice.
I don't think we do. So good. Thank you for letting me backtrack here. On to informational items.
The information is in the report, nothing additional to add.
Thank you, Jamie. And thank you also for, I know, an incredibly busy week, for being willing to do this so last minute. So appreciate the time. And Will as well, if Will is still on. Yes, Will is still there. Okay, thank you as well. Okay, commissioner reports and comments.
Can I ask a couple questions since we have city staff here?
Mhm.
Okay, Jamie and Will, any update on our tower?
Oh yeah, oh God, that's right.
Please say yes and everything is perfect.
It's not.
So the piece is completed already, and the payment is complete as well. So it is 2 egrets that were completed. And when I checked in with John, his remembrance is that the commission did provide input, but ultimately it was at the artist's discretion, since it wasn't a piece to be on loan. So that is what the background that was provided to me.
Okay,
Oh, you're on.
disappointing, but moving on. Yep.
Do we have an ETA for it being delivered and installed?
So have reached out to the artist, and at the moment we are trying to target the end of August / beginning of September to install.
And there are no changes that can be made at this point, right?
That is correct.
No, a
No,
lot of the rooms in the community center are named after trees, so we have birds, so it's fine. Let's just accept it and roll with it.
And we're gonna roll on, okay.
Hopefully it'll still be at least attractive, you know.
Paula, comment?
I'm just wondering, was there a conversation with the artist?
With the artist,
Not-
as far as it being, or
I'm
sorry, didn't
not-
mean.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, if you can, I just wanted to make sure I understood your question.
No, I'm just wondering if you or John have had a conversation with Charles Gadekin about the fact that we never talked about birds or egrets. It was predator prey. I'm just curious. I'm not trying to make a fight here, but I have it in my notes what we talked to him about. So I'm just curious if there was any follow-up with him about that.
So I had gotten information from John, and then as far as conversation with the artist, it was confirming whether or not it was complete or if changes could be made. And so it wasn't specific to whether or not that as far as what was chosen, if that was following what was actually discussed at the commission.
It sounds like it was artist's choice, or did John make the choice? It was artist's choice.
Correct.
Well, I just think lesson learned going forward, especially with the commission having money, when the commission is able to commission a piece, not to keep using the same word, there has to be more frequent communication between the commission and the artist during the process, so
Well,
that something like this can happen again.
But we did give our input, and he clearly completely deviated from the input that we gave, and that, yeah, so and maybe that's the change we need to have. If our input is deviation, maybe we needed a final something, but yeah, and we can also communicate and that we're disappointed that.
Maybe commissioners can be put in contact with the artist over the process to take that off of the city staff
Agreed.
person. Because I mean, this is something that maybe just got kind of lost in the works of, I mean, I know how busy everybody is. So anyway, I'm sure the piece will be really cool, and nobody other than us and the few people that listen to our meetings even will know that this wasn't the choice. So that's totally fine.
So let's just not say anything and go, egrets, aren't they wonderful on the Baylands?
They are beautiful birds.
On the note of the delivery, Jamie, you'll email the commission, and for those of us who can go and actually meet the artist and bite our tongues and say thank you, we can do so.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Jamie, for following up on that. One other.
I do Oh, sorry, go ahead,
Oh,
Nancy.
please, Monica.
Okay, I had a couple more things. I'm glad we've got some closure on the tower, even if it wasn't what we wanted to hear. Once upon a time, Jamie, I'd asked about our webpage, and I know that we have some people who are about to term out, and hopefully the webpage will be updated. In fact, I noticed that I think that the last call for art looks like it was taken down. Is that my imagination, or?
No, I think you are correct. Now, as far as web pages go, we are getting some support on that piece because we did, and I think, I can't remember if I had mentioned that before at the last meeting, but our marketing specialist has moved on to a full-time position. So that is currently a vacancy with us. So we are utilizing other city support to make some of those adjustments.
Okay, and we definitely need to get our guidelines up if we're doing calls for art, whether it be for the community center, which we'll discuss tomorrow, or our regular loan program. We need people to follow the guidelines about our artwork that is allowed. So it would be good to have that up on our website.
Well, right now, the art guidelines are still up.
Are they up there?
Mhm.
Okay, okay.
They are, and easy to pull down and print out in beautiful color. And so there.
Then I was mistaken. I know I was banging on a bunch of different links. Maybe I didn't see that link.
Yeah, it's a little hidden, but it's in the general vicinity of the Arts Commission page. And I think it may be at the bottom of so it's below the fold. And, but it is there. So Monica, anything else?
Yeah, two more things. One, I wanted to circle back on something that happened about a month ago with our email addresses. Our home addresses were sent out. And Jamie, you said you were going to look into if that could be stricken from the record, or if a public request could get that email. Do you have any feedback on that?
No, I am still following up on that piece, and I appreciate that. I will get back to the commission once I do have that finalized.
Perfect. Okay, and then my last thing, I can't believe we're still in August, but as I look towards the dates for the next couple months, September, I'm not sure if I can make the next meeting. Is there any chance that, and I know we're so short on members that one or two members falling off the bus means we won't have a quorum. Is there any chance we can move the September meeting?
Yeah, I can't make it either. Could we move it to the following? Paula, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I may not be able to. So can we move it out a week? Would you guys be available the last Thursday?
Yeah, I'm available.
Yeah.
So what day would that be? The 30th?
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
That works for me.
Okay. One last question about the community center is, and the question that we're all dreading, the firebox. What's going on with the firebox? Any progress, Jamie?
As far as update goes, I was assured that it can be moved by mid-September. And so we have currently scheduled Morgan to paint the murals starting the week of September 20th.
Yay.
Yay. So that gives her, if she starts the week of the 20th, I think you said that it would take the art installation, i.e. the painting, would take about 2 weeks. Is that still?
That is correct. So that would be in time for the grand opening.
Yay. Oh, that's wonderful. Jamie, thank you for bird dogging that. I know it's been a pain in the neck, and thank you very, very much for the good news. Okay, potential future agenda items.
Can I just go back to the previous
Sure.
section?
Mhm.
Jamie and William, are you allowed to say if we've gotten anybody who wants to join our commission?
I have not had anyone reach out directly, but obviously the coordination of the application goes directly through the city clerk's office. So at least at this point, I'm not aware of what applications have been received. And I can follow up to see if anything has been received.
Jamie, if it's not one more thing for you, that would be great. Monica, would you be okay if she put that kind of at a lower priority at this
Yeah, I
point?
mean, I know that the applications aren't due till like Friday anyway, so, which is tomorrow, Friday the 13th. Yeah, that's not a high priority. We're just hopeful.
Yeah, we are. We are. Okay.
Did you have an agenda item to add, Nancy?
I did. Call for art. I think we want to, it'll be right on the crest of community center. If there are any last minute ditch efforts, let's make sure we identify them and we can jump in. And I will take time off if you need my help with anything. And work plan. Probably you want to move, Monica, that's something that when you have your new commissioners on, that would be a good idea. So maybe that's a future one.
Yeah, maybe the work plan would be on the agenda for October.
Yeah.
I mean, we should review it in September, but definitely in October as well. And then on that note, when is our city council yearly meeting? Do we have any idea?
Yes, so that was at the tentative timeline when I indicated commissioner terms. I would recommend to include the work plan on the next agenda because I think actually your joint commission, September, October would be the good time frame because I believe the joint meeting is in November. I think is
Yes.
what match what was done last year as well.
Yeah, it's currently scheduled for November 2nd.
Perfect.
Okay.
So the October meeting, and we will have new commissioners sworn in at that October meeting, right?
Correct.
And so just so I can do a little planning here, you're not expecting Paula and I to attend that October meeting, correct?
Correct.
You are always both welcome to join us.
Thank you very much.
I had something I wanted to add to a public agenda. I mean, I don't know if we need to do it for September, October, but I want to look into booking this community poetry, 2 languages, 1 community for possibly around January, February. Combines African-American poetry and Chinese language poetry, so it'd be great for MLK, Lunar New Year. But I'd like to go ahead and get them booked before they get otherwise booked. So I'd like to put that on the agenda.
Didn't we agree to that last meeting?
We talked about it, but we didn't, I didn't bring up price or anything, and I need to check with their schedule. We might want to look at a date and thing and look at the calendar, so.
Yeah, getting it between MLK and Chinese New Year would be really great. And
I will look at that. Well, we also need to get a room too. So talk to the orchard room and something like, or do it on Zoom, I guess. So we'll see.
the orchard room.
I'll look into that. But if we can put it on the future agenda, and I can email details, I guess, if I need to.
Great. Okay. We're getting close to signing off. Any other comments, questions? Mary Jo, please, you feel welcome to unmute if you've got questions or something that isn't clear.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
And Mary Jo, do I need to email you about schedule for Sunday for the art in the park?
I don't, it's not important that I know the exact time you're going to be there. I have you for the morning. So
Okay.
I assumed you'd be between 9 and 10 until noon or so.
That's fine. That'll be Sunday. Okay, that works.
Yeah. And just remember, we're down at the end, under the trees by the bears.
The end towards Edith, right?
By Edith, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll just have a table there. Like
problem.
Jamie explained, we don't have a booth.
That's fine. Okay.
All right.
See you Sunday. Yep.
Oh,
And
I won't see you because I'm going to be there Saturday. Casey will be in charge there on Sunday.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Good. Any final comments?
That is it.
I think we lost Vice Mayor Enander. She may have had another meeting, but I then suggest that we adjourn, and we're actually a little bit early, which is great.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
In a week or so. Bye-bye.
Bye.